Hello everyone. The topic of our group research today is the future possibility in wearable experience design. During our assignment 2, we established the technology of wearable, the key players in the space, and the current controversy around data privacy. During our presentation, we expand on this topic into future 5 years and interrogate the future direction, stakeholder, and potential exclusion. Finally, we explore the triple bottom line to understand potential strategies to enable aesthetical design. Wearables have transitioned from step tracking device to advanced health monitoring platforms. Looking into the near future of 5 years' time, we see functionalities seamlessly and ubiquity becoming the 3 key characteristics of wearables. First, wearables are becoming smaller and more integrated with our clothing, artifact, or worn as rings, glasses, or behind earlobes as microsensors. Rather than wearable being something we consciously choose to use, wearable will become integrated with the item around us. This raises questions. Will wearable extend our data collection without our conscious attentions and open opportunities for new health monitoring, but also question of our surveillance and privacy? Wearable will become anticipatory as opposed to merely gathering data of past behaviors. Though new machine learning models, there is potential to identify incoming illness, low energy, and heightened stress level before the wearer recognizes it themselves. While this is powerful for rehabilitation, medicine, and safety, it leads to larger augmented influence on conscious decision-making. Wearable will be more interoperable. Wearable health data might become integrated with healthcare systems, workplaces, and insurance companies. This is exciting in terms of personalized and data support healthcare, but it signifies a collapse of the traditional separation of health data. Wearable will no longer feel like a separate product, but be immersed within the data environment. Current stakeholders of wearable include technology groups like Apple and Google's, hospitals, scientists, aesthetics, and everyday customers. Insurance companies are new stakeholders increasingly connect with wearable technology through quantifiable data for discounts and rebates. Employers are current and potential stakeholders of interest for workplace safety. In 5 years, there will be new stakeholders from diverse actors. Government health agencies will see health care systems integrate with larger biowear technology. Schools might become educated on the utility of using wearable to track low mental health and attentiveness in students. Cities might track categorical health and disease data from their citizens. AI therapy companies will use wearable as input devices. This means organizations will no longer solely design with technology companies, but with a larger set of stakeholders with divergent interests. Wearables have a universal benefit to detect chronic disease, enable aesthetic to improve performance, allowing aging adults to rely on falls and monitoring dangerous work environment. There is excitement for many wearables to positively change lives with a minimalistic design. Not everyone will be beneficiaries. High income without increase in premium cost will have access to devices such as smart rings and expensive smart watches. Caregivers negotiating multiple responsibilities. People with low income, individuals with disabilities, and non-standard biometric are at real risk. They might be misidentified as high risk and benefit from an algorithmic insurance penalty. Insurance models centered around idealized health and activity can have negative consequences for people with medical conditions and socioeconomic Barriers were those with demanding carriers. This case study is emblematic of a real issue. Vulnerable populations could be excluded from insurance or healthcare market if wearable and their data play an outsized role. Our version reflects why mediating technology for the future must address consideration of equity. What can we do to design more ethical future for wearable? We take on the triple bottom line framework. Social sustainability includes future concerns related to bodily autonomy, consent, fairness, and non-consent. Biometrics should not become a requirement for wearable insurance premiums. They should not enforce surveillance and consensual data sharing, knowingly or otherwise. To ensure social sustainability, companies must design against feeling forced to consent. Fairness includes creating algorithms that are not discriminatory based on disability, shape and size, chronic conditions. Environmental sustainability in wearable posed a harder equation. Electronic waste makes up a significant portion of waste cycle. Difficulties transporting raw material or battery disposal with reasonably high standard and low-cost maintenance. This requires additional investment in R&D for longevity, ease of repairs, and modular systems. Lastly, environmental sustainability also applies to big data centers. How will the computing capacity required to process biometric reports score in an energy-efficient way? Economic sustainability requires disclosure on data privacy, usage, and ownership. This requires new economic models for many customers' wearable. High subscription costs that do not encourage lock-ins or correlate with discrimination, reading outcomes, or insurance pressures. Creating a future of wearable that applies triple bottom line in design are critical to human, economic, and environmental ecology. Organizations requiring a response to wearable and their effect on people can implement principles that require data minimization. To collect biometric data from individuals, they must ensure that individual can easily reverse or delete biometric history electronically. Algorithm design must involve fairness testing. Finally, equitable design is imperative. The created product, service must make decisions about metrics used for measuring health that do not shut out lower resource individuals, social classes, or demographics. Governments also have a role to play, creating and monitoring stronger regulation against unfair data, false correlations, and biosurveillance. Governments must ensure that companies cannot modify an employees' or students' bodies and their biometric to enforce or reinforce workers' productivity, educational methods, or rationales for hiring. Finally, government stakeholder engaged must be more collective and coordinated, or else it risks silos. In conclusion, wearables are a rich intersection of design, human behavior, and consequences to the environment and the economy. They present enormous potential for benefit and improvement. From essential health monitoring to detection tools for dangerous wearables, but we find the catch-22 framing the problem. Devices that peer into one's data and life can easily be manipulated as surveillance entities that commodify the individual on unequal economic terms. We can open the threshold for pressure and innovation behind it or direct the ship to more human outcomes. The choice is up to us. Thank you all for listening.